guys, welcome back to Mystifying Miracles. I'm Kristen. I do true stories every week, twice a week usually, and they always involve one miracle, so they always end on a good note. So if that sounds pretty cool to you, listen along and we are going to get started. Our story involves a couple named Herb and Flo. They lived in Houston, Texas. Now Herb, he worked for a ministry. It was on behalf, it said, of Teen Challenge. So he had been a director there for about 4 years, and Flo, she was a homemaker. Now, they lived a very meager lifestyle, but they were used to that. And that was because, Herb didn't make a lot of money. So they learned to be frugal, I guess you could say. Well, there came a time after so many years passed that, because of age and just other factors, it was time for Herb to resign. And what they wanted to do was to sell their house in Houston and move back to their hometown of Springfield, Missouri. Now, they had a lovely, cute little house. It was 2 stories, sat on the corner, nice neighborhood. So everything was great. So they put it up on the market. Now, most houses in their neighborhood, they were getting sold in 2-3 weeks tops. Time kept ticking by, and their house was not selling. In fact, it wasn't not only just not selling. There hasn't been even one person that has come into that house to look at it. Not even one. So they were kind of like, okay, this is strange. What is going on? Now, in addition to that stress going on, they also, over the years, had amounted over $19,000 in credit card debt and bills. And again, that was because Herb didn't make a lot. He worked in the ministry, so it was a very difficult time for them. Herb did do some odd jobs. He worked for another little church, doing some things like painting and carpentry, little things like that here and there, little handyman type jobs to try to, just earn a little bit of extra, and meanwhile, time's going by. I think it said it had already been like 2 months. Not sold, not a soul had come into that house to look at it. One day, Herb was at work and his telephone rang. He picked it up. It was his wife, Flo. She said, "Honey, you'd better sit down for what I have to tell you next." So I can imagine what was going through Herb's mind, like, okay. I know if it was me, I'd be terrified because if you're telling me to sit down, something's very, very wrong. I'd be terrified, to be honest. But anyway, so he does what she tells him to do. He sits down and he's thinking, okay. She proceeds to say that she had been cleaning, wiping down things, just trying to get things ready for when hopefully their house did sell, right? So she had been reaching underneath this little cabinet with drawers that was way up underneath the kitchen sink. And she had pulled out all her cookie tins. That's where she stored them. And she was just trying to wipe down the shelving and all that inside. Well, inside, there was also like these dividers. So she was kind of pulling those out one by one, wiping, trying to reach all the way to the back, and get back there, reach her hand there and get every nook and cranny. Well, when she did that, she felt something and she said it was something loose. I assume she meant like a board of some type. Well, she investigates it, feeling around, and she pulls out a pink rag. Inside the pink rag was a huge wad of money. Yeah. So she's telling Herb this, and Herb's like, he's probably like, tell me more. She sets that down. She decides to get into the drawer that's underneath that one and clean it out. So she's doing the same thing. She pulls out another rag that's hidden in the deep depths back. I'm trying to picture what this looked like. But she finds another one, opens it up, another big wad of money. And she said, "Honey, I counted it up. There is over $20,000 that are just found in our house." Well, obviously, after hearing this, Herb put his work down and he went home. So it hadn't been even a week since Flo found that money. So it was the Saturday after their house sold. No joke. Just like that. Is that not crazy or what? So with that 20 grand, they were able to move back. They paid off all their debt, said they tithed, and rented 3 U-Haul trucks. And they were able to get settled in Missouri debt-free. Now, with the sale of their house, they used to buy another. It was a foreclosed home in Missouri. So that worked out well for their finances, and they didn't know a thing after they did all that. So can you imagine? Like, my goodness, what a gift from God. Very odd way of providing, but hey, I'm not complaining. Like, that is pretty awesome. Almost unbelievable, but yet believable, I assume it didn't say what year their house was, but I'm assuming it was an old one, maybe 30s, 40s, 50s, and whoever lived in it way back when probably hid their money there and forgot it. I know my great-grandparents, they used to hide money like stuffed inside the mattresses or in the attic. They really didn't use banks back in those days. So I assume that's kind of what happened, but I don't know. It could have been just God putting it there. I don't know. Tell me what you guys think. What are your opinions of this story? I just thought it was a wild one. Quick, but interesting nonetheless. God, he's a great provider, and that's just an awesome one. Let me know if you guys like the story as well. And I do thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate that. And just remember, like and subscribe, and I will see you all for the next one.